你今年多大
45，
你结过婚没有？
没结过婚也没谈过恋爱。
How old are you? 45. Have you ever been married? No, never married, never even dated. So, are you still a virgin? Yes. And what kind of man are you looking for now? Bride price must be paid in full. $95,000 up front. $95,000? Yes. Hello, Miss Wang. What kind of partner are you looking for today? Height at least 180 centimeters. Must own a car and a house. Annual income of at least $110,000, preferably 7 figures. Monthly salary should be 6 figures. And most importantly, must be a virgin. I'm a virgin. Bride price must be paid in full, $95,000. How old are you again? And your monthly income, $830. Do you own a car? Number, a house? Number, so no car, no house. What do you do for work? Entertainment industry? Whoa. Honestly, Miss Wang, those are some high standards. I'm very confident. These are the conditions I want. That's it. Have you ever been married? Number, never even dated. Seriously. But if the guy has the right qualities, I'm willing to have 3 children for him. 3? Yes. That's why I want a blank sheet to match mine. So you're still a virgin. No wonder you want a virgin husband too. But what exactly will you do with the $95,000 bride price? Build a house for my parents in our hometown. Do you realize that $95,000 is the equivalent of working 8 years without spending a cent? I don't care. That's my condition. I want the full bride price. But you have no house, no car, low income, and you're not young anymore. You think you're some kind of fairy princess? With these conditions, you'd be the one left behind in any matchmaking event. Even 25-year-olds with better looks can't compete? I don't care. These are my conditions. I'm confident, and I'm beautiful. Confidence is great, but overconfidence? That's a problem. I'm not afraid no one will want me. Plenty of men want me. Marriage is about being well-matched in every way. Shared values and compatibility matter more. What's the point of love without money? I don't want to suffer. And if you find a man like that, what would he even see in you? I'm confident. I'm a virgin. Mocking laugh. This isn't a fantasy drama. Wake up. This is real life. Rich older men? They're all marrying girls in their early 20s. Then I'll find a younger guy. I want fresh meat, not some old bald man. At your age, you should be marrying a 55-year-old uncle with a bald spot. Nope. I want young, hot, and high quality. Who do you think you are? Let's see you find one in a month then. Fine, just watch me. Good luck. Now, hand the mic back, please. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
现在很多男的娶不上老婆。
These days, a lot of men can't get married. And everyone seems to think it's because there are more men than women. But if there are so many single older women, why are men still struggling to find wives? Why do so many women prefer to stay single rather than get married? It's not just about the gender ratio. The real reason there are so many bachelors is that most of these men are just average. Average looks, average family background, and no stable job. At the core, they lack the basic ability to support a family. First, their parents can't help them. Second, they have no personal ability. They have no charm to attract women. They can't even take care of themselves. Yet they expect to get married? That's why a lot of women would rather stay single than marry an average man who brings nothing to the table. So why do these men always lash out at women? Because they can't accept the truth. They've already been eliminated from the dating market. So what do? They turn around and insult the women who are single. But these women never insult men. All they want is a partner who has a house and a car. That's it. They're not attacking you personally. Yet when a woman says she wants a man with basic financial security, you call her too demanding. Isn't the problem actually you? If you're not good enough, why not work on yourself? Improve your mindset. Build your income. Take care of your appearance. Learn how to be someone worth loving. Instead of blaming women every day, thinking yelling at them will magically get you a wife, wake up, you're ordinary. That's fine, but don't expect women to suffer through life with you just because of that. They didn't ask anything from you, they just chose to stay single. And you? You're still dreaming. Dreaming of some woman who will willingly suffer alongside you. Keep dreaming.
要挑战100天，给我妈妈找到儿媳妇。
I'm on a 100-day mission to find a wife for my mom's son. There are 79 days left, which means it's already been 21 days, and so far I've got nothing. Well, maybe not nothing. I have made some progress. A lot of people have reached out to me. I'm 40 years old, never married, no kids. I just quit my job. I'm from Heilongjiang, currently in Hangzhou. Nope. None of that. I'm what you'd call a 000 product. No house, no car, no savings. Exactly. Normally, people don't need a full-blown challenge just to get married. I'm not ruling it out, but it's not my preference. Yes, how we get there doesn't matter. What matters is the result. I only need one person. If it's 1 in 100, I'm good with that. Even if it's 1 in 10,000, I'm still willing to try. I've got tens of thousands of followers on TikTok. Yeah, maybe one of them could help me find someone. They support me because they see me, not just my material status. Let me put it this way, I have a lot of good qualities, but I also have one fatal flaw. I've been out of school for 20 years, and I still haven't made any money. I used to be really anxious, introverted, and had low self-esteem, but now I want to break out of that. I'm going after what I want. I'm fighting for it. Absolutely. A lot of older single men and women are still sitting around waiting for fate to show up, but I don't believe in that anymore. Before 20? Sure. Now? I've got to fight for it. I'm going all in. And I hope the next time you see me, or maybe the time after that, this number on my countdown will be gone. I hope I've succeeded. Thank you.
现在不给彩礼也能结婚了，你敢信？
Can you believe it? You can now get married without even paying bride price. Here's the latest from the matchmaking market. A wave of so-called vintage women, mostly over 30, are flooding blind date events across the country. As long as you're a man, and as long as you're willing to accept a woman in her 30s, even without offering any bride price, you can basically get married instantly. These women are lining up like it's a debt settlement event, just waiting for a man to come rescue them. Most likely, they've dragged their debts to the limit. Even if you don't give a cent up front, they just want to secure a marriage first for safety. They swear, as long as you help me pay off my debts, I'll be loyal to you for life. Do you believe that? If you do, well, then I've got nothing more to say. But take this as a warning. Don't casually date older single women. Don't date divorced women with kids. Don't date women with grown brothers. Those are the high-risk zones in the dating market. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me.
我是女生哎，你们男生就是应该来追我。
I'm a girl, okay? You guys, as men, should be the ones chasing after me. If we're going on a date, all the expenses? Obviously, the guy should pay for everything. Honestly, if you're a girl who thinks this way, maybe just don't bother going on blind dates. Recently, I met with a girl born in 1995. She's 155 centimeters tall, weighs about 55 kilograms, and used to work as an office clerk. Her monthly income was around $690. Right now, she's between jobs. She told me her family had introduced her to several blind date candidates, but according to her, their looks were a complete disaster. She just couldn't bring herself to even try. There were 2 guys she found somewhat acceptable, so she gave them a chance and chatted with both. One guy was quite proactive, and their conversations were going well, but he was only 170 centimeters tall. She said, I think he's too short. I'm worried he might negatively impact the next generation's genes. So she cut him off. The other guy? Tall, decent looking, totally her type, but not very proactive. He replied to messages slowly. Waiting for his replies was agonizing. She told me, even though I like him, I'm afraid that if I take the initiative, I'll look cheap. All right, I get it. So I asked, are you hoping I'll find you a guy who's both handsome and chases after you? She said, exactly. You totally get me. That's exactly what I want. I said, sorry, can't help you there. She was confused. What's wrong with my standards? Are they really that high? All I'm asking for is at least 175 centimeters tall, decent looking. I mean, if a guy isn't even 175, isn't that basically a disability? At that point, I really couldn't hold it in anymore. I said, "Wait, you're 155 centimeters tall. Don't you affect the gene pool? There are girls who are 170 centimeters saying they'll settle for someone just a little taller, 175 centimeters. And you're out here being picky? You're the one who liked the guy first, right? Now you want him, a handsome guy, to fawn over you? What, you think hot guys have never seen a woman before? And this whole idea that you initiating something would make you lose value? But when men make the first move, that's just expected and it doesn't cheapen them? Come on." Honestly, after dealing with so many single people, I've realized something. Some people end up single into their 30s or beyond. And really, they have no one else to blame. You don't have the looks. You don't offer emotional value. You can't even hold a basic job. You're out here hunting for something close to home, low stress, and high pay. How are you going to find a partner if you can't even find employment?
你找大龄女就是找祖宗，大龄女没有优质这一说。
Video 6. If you date an older woman, you're basically inviting a tyrant into your life. There's no such thing as a high-quality older woman. Because if she were truly high quality, she wouldn't have ended up single at this age. Older women, at their core, are lacking wisdom and ability. They just want to enjoy what men provide without fulfilling their own responsibilities. If you build a family with an older woman, she'll expect you to drain your entire life savings just to welcome the queen into your home. Her standards, ridiculously high. And once she's in, she'll dominate you and trample on you and belittle you. Some even collect massive bride prices, only to come home and fight, argue, and eventually divorce, legally and shamelessly taking a man's blood, sweat, and tears. The older a woman is, the less capable she is of genuine love. All she does is calculate and take. There's no emotion left, only conditions and demands. The smartest thing a man can do? Find someone young. Young women still know how to love. They want to grow with you, build a life together. But older women? No more love, only cold calculation.
90年你这个还是完全看不出来呀，看起来像
You were born in 1990? You really can't tell. You look like you're still in your 20s. Maybe it's because I've got a young mindset. So are you unmarried or divorced? Unmarried. Why didn't you date before? I was always focused on my career. So what do? I'm a sales manager. How much do you earn? About $27,500 a year. I own my own house and car, no loan on the car. My mortgage is just a bit over $280 a month, so not too stressful. Is the house the one you plan to live in long term? Yes, I've settled there. My mom still lives back in our hometown with my younger brother. What kind of man are you looking for? Preferably someone born after 1985. He should own his own place. Because my place only has 2 bedrooms, might be tight if he has a child. Also, he should have a stable job and not too many financial burdens. And ideally, his mom should have a pension. But your parents probably don't, right? Since you have a younger brother. My mom is still quite dependable. As for my brother, I do go home for the holidays, to visit and give a little money as a gesture of respect. But in daily life, she mainly helps him take care of his kid. So honestly, I don't feel much financial pressure in terms of supporting my parents. That's why I also hope his mom has a pension. It would be nice if both our situations are about the same. What about height and looks? Taller than me is fine. And his income? A bit higher than mine would be good. When do you plan to get married? At least after dating for 1 year. Marriage is a lifelong matter. You've got to take your time and observe. Would you consider a man who is divorced with a child, preferably never married, but people born after 1985 are nearly 40 now, and you still want someone who's never been married? At most, he can have a kid, but if he's raising the child himself, that's a deal breaker. Because honestly, my mindset and personality are still quite youthful. I always feel like I'm only 27 or 28, very young at heart. Yeah, I get that you do seem youthful. So what kind of guy really attracts you? Someone honest and kind, but that's just the bare minimum. He must have integrity. No lying. Not even white lies? Nope. Can you give an example? Because honestly, people who never lie are rare. Even the kindest folks lie to parents, teachers, co-workers, or their boss sometimes, like asking for leave to go on a vacation. Is that kind of lie acceptable? Small stuff like that is fine, like copying answers on a quiz. But if a guy is actually 166 centimeters tall and lies that he's 170 or says he doesn't have a kid when he clearly does, that kind of lying is totally unacceptable. Yeah, that's pretty common. Some men lie about height just to get a first date. They figure if the conversation flows well, maybe there's a chance. Doesn't work on me. The moment we meet, I can tell he's lying and I won't want to see him again. So basically, all your requirements are fixed. No flexibility? I guess you could say that. I've always been drawn to men who are stronger in every way. I'm a pretty independent person, too. In past years, I did lower my standards a bit, but only to men who are at least about equal to me. I really can't go any lower. Why not try relaxing a few of your standards? Like, say, a man with a child, or someone whose parents don't have pensions, but who earns several times more than you do. Expanding your pool means more chances to meet someone. It doesn't mean you have to settle for those, but it's like casting a wider net. You have to fish where there's actual fish. If you're fishing in a spot that's already been overfished, then no matter how many nets you cast, you'll still come up empty. So you're saying my standards are too high? Not necessarily high, just unrealistic. It's like going to a night market and asking for soy milk and fried dough sticks. Those are breakfast foods. Even if they do have them, they're leftovers from the morning. Would you even want to eat them? You have to accept what's available at the time and place you're in. You can't force it. That's not how life works.
为什么村里边的光棍多，但是城里边的剩女多伙伴？
Why are there so many single men in the countryside but so many leftover women in the cities? Have you ever thought about it? At the core, it's actually a matter of human nature. Let me be bold and talk about it today. Might sound a bit rebellious. Historically, women have always been attracted to higher status men. That's what wooden wall, mu qiang, means. Hoping to marry into a rich, powerful, influential family. So many women dream of going to the city, looking for a good family, a wealthy urban household. In ancient times, urban elites could take on 3 or 4 wives, but the young men in villages couldn't find a single spouse. Fast forward to today, young women still want to move to cities and find that same ideal husband. So what happens? Village men still can't find wives. The only difference is, today's elite men in cities are no longer allowed to have multiple wives. They can only marry one woman. So naturally, this leads to a surplus of women in cities, who are all chasing the same type of man, but can't all marry him. That's how leftover women appear. Of course, in today's world, we also have many independent women who don't rely on men at all. Some are even more capable and wealthier than their male peers. Many women in their 30s already own cars, houses, and earn over $140,000 per year. But here's the problem. These elite women often want a partner who matches their own level of success. Yet the men who do match that level usually prefer younger, more attractive women. This too leads to the rise of so-called leftover women. Now let's look at this from another perspective. Based on Professor Zui Zhaofeng's economics lectures, he argues that marriage itself is essentially an economic issue, like competing for land, wealth, or property. Marriage is, at its core, a competition for reproductive resources, and reproduction is a resource. According to biological instincts, successful males will naturally compete for more of these reproductive opportunities, which explains the historical tendency toward polygamy. So why is monogamy the standard today? Because modern societies enforce monogamy as both a purchase restriction and a protection policy. What does that mean? It limits access for elite men, so they don't monopolize all the women, and protects the interests of ordinary men. However, this also comes at a cost. It limits some women's right to choose. Professor Shui explains, if a woman is given 2 options, 1. Marry an average man. 2. Share a successful man with other women. Many women would actually choose the second, but under monogamy, the second option is no longer available, or at best, it exists only in secret, hidden from public view. That's another reason why many women remain single. Of course, these are Professor Zhu's arguments. Let me add one more realistic point. Most policies like these are designed to restrict the ordinary people. Meanwhile, the elite families, no matter the era, always find ways to bypass the system. So what do you think?
好像大家都以为是男多女少造成的。
Life in China today is no longer about sweet love stories. It has become a public auction between financial conditions, age, and expectations. According to data from China's Ministry of Civil Affairs, in just the first quarter of 2025, only 1.81 million couples registered for marriage, the lowest figure in over a decade. Meanwhile, the divorce rate remains high, and the number of single people has surpassed 300 million. This isn't just a romantic crisis, it signals a deep erosion of the traditional family structure. But amid all this chaos, perhaps it's time we take a step back and reflect. Marriage should not be a transaction, but a journey based on responsibility and mutual support. Because no matter how fast society evolves, life in China must still be grounded in family, trust, and the core values that hold us together. If marriage is truly just a competition for reproductive resources, as Professor Zhu claims, then is there still room for real love in today's world? In a society where women are stronger and more independent, but still struggle to find husbands, and where men only seek youth and beauty, who's really losing out on love? Let us know where you stand. Do you support individual freedom of choice, or believe it's time to return to traditional family values? Don't be afraid to share your opinion in the comments, because the more controversial it is, the more meaningful the dialogue becomes. Leave your thoughts below. And don't forget to follow the China Social Trends channel so you won't miss the raw, thought-provoking, and controversial stories about life in China. Thank you for watching until the end. See you next time.